Hi, everybody. This is Jim Saffron with Pure Vintage Media, and welcome to our latest podcast interview. I'm really excited about this one because I know this gentleman so well. Bill Rotella is a wonderful singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist based out of Los Angeles, and I've known Bill since our earliest days in North Hollywood, California at Madison Junior High School. Bill comes from a prominent musical family, including his father, Johnny Rotella, that legendary studio musician and prolific composer whose compositions were recorded by such icons as Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Doris Day, and Slim Whitman. Yeah, Slim Whitman. And who among us can say that their father played saxophone on Frank Zappa's first album, Freak Out? Now that's impressive. But this isn't about his family, this is about Bill's career. And after 15 albums, multiple collaborations, he shows no sign of slowing down. So I ask you to join me in welcoming to Pure Vintage Media, Bill Rotella. Well, hi, everybody. This is Jim Saffron with Pure Vintage Media, and welcome to our podcast. This is going to be a great one. An old friend. I don't know if we went to elementary school together. We certainly went to junior high together. Did you go to Hazeltine?
No, no, no. I was at Madison. I transferred into Van Nuys.
Okay, all right. But
Yeah,
you went. We met each other at Madison Junior
yeah,
High School way
yes,
back. I don't
yeah.
want to say how far back. And then, of course, in high school, we have both have many of the same friends. And he's become through the years. We've reconnected, and he's become one of my favorite artists. More importantly, one of my favorite songwriters. And so, please join me in welcoming Bill Rotella. Bill, nice
Glad
to
to be
meet
here.
you.
Right on.
Great to
Good to
have
be
you.
here, buddy. Yeah,
Yeah. So, um, I don't know where to even start. Bill comes from a heritage of musicians, unbelievable. And I have to ask you this.
yeah.
So, Bill's dad, Johnny, was one of the great studio legends. And I'm gonna reel off some stuff that is just amazing that this was his dad. And your dad lived to be over 100? Is that
No, no,
correct?
no. 94.
94. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm hoping that he got to see a lot of your success. Did he?
Yeah, it was great because near the end, in his last, I went to live with him the last couple of years. It was great. It's great.
Yeah.
Let's start off with a great story, okay? Great music
Please.
story. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gigging and my mom, got ill with Alzheimer's or whatever. So we had in this little home close to where we lived. My dad was alone for the first time, and he's a New York Italian dude. So like
Yeah.
in this big house by himself. So I went back to live with them for the last few years. And I was doing a gig one night and I came home and his car wasn't there. And I go, he's like 91, right? So I'm
Yeah.
going, let's call my sister, right? Anybody know or 91 years old, right? He's
Where's
out
dad?
driving somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So I'm waiting, and then the car comes to the U driveway. I see it coming around, and I go,
Right.
okay, he's back. He walks in a pinstripe suit, dressed up, and I go, where were you, man? And him proud Italian. Hey, you don't ask me where I am. I just do what I have, whatever. Because I went down, went to the Catalina Bar and Grill to see Frida Payne. I had to show him a couple of songs. The band's, so he's driving over the canyon
Yeah.
to the Catalina Bar and Grill to see this
Wow.
song, this, Frida Payne singer, right?
Rita Payne. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so the guys in the band, he's always carrying songs, man. Like, so he was, even though he wasn't gigging as much, and if you go to my website, there's a video of him at 90 playing clarinet. Blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. So yeah, he was so when I lived with him for those last few years, I would come home and he would listen to my mixes we'd go into my truck because I was
Cool.
listening to him. He'd come out in his bathrobe, and he'd come in the truck and I'd play him the mixes. So he was aware of what I was doing.
Did he love your music?
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, he played sax on one tune, and I remember him. Yeah, yeah, this song called "She Does Look My Way," and he said to me, he came in, he was doing a session, and he said, "What do you hear?" I go, "Ba ba 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 ba." I'm singing this horn line to him, and he does it. He just, because I'm not schooled. He's extremely schooled.
Right. Right.
He's a
read
studio guy. Yeah.
charts and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, God, he writes and he wrote so much stuff. He's a
Yeah.
songwriter, not just a
Oh yeah.
studio dude. Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah,
get to that. Yeah.
yeah. So he would sit down and he goes, and I'm sitting there. It's the first time I ever went, wow, what a language this is, like to write this stuff. And if I was to do it over again, I would focus on that because it's remarkable. My sister's an amazing flautist, and she does the same thing. They just read. And you know what? Interesting about music. My sister is an amazing flute player, but she can only play what she can read. So she's recorded with me as well. So if I sing to her something, it's like, hang on, I
She
have
has to
to.
write it down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad.
Transcribe it.
Yeah, transcribe. My dad could sit there and just off the cuff, he'll just start playing stuff. So he's a club guy and a studio guy, whereas my
Right.
sister is a studio. So I've learned that thing, and I'm only a club. I can't touch the studio,
You
But
play
I've
by ear,
recorded.
basically, right?
Yeah, I'm only by ear. I'm only
Yeah.
by ear. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's funny that you say that because, and I'm not that good. I'm a strummer here at home, but I have learned a lot of songs, and I've said the same thing that you said, and I've actually gone back and I think I'm getting the very early Mel Bay
Oh,
books to just I want to learn. I want to strip everything away and learn
yeah.
fundamentals and learn to read music. So that's
I'm
what
gonna
I'm going to do
send
the
you.
rest of my life.
I'm gonna send Jim. I'm gonna send you a couple of guitar books.
Wonderful.
I have classics from like 60 years ago. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
vintage. Since we're talking about pure vintage, how about some pure vintage? I'll do it.
Nice plug. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I'll send you a couple.
Wonderful. That'd be great. Maybe I'll send you some stuff too.
Yeah.
With that, Bill's dad, Johnny Rotella, legend, played with Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Doris Day. He was not only he played on. So what cracks me up is when we were in junior high, he was doing things like, or in elementary school, he was doing things like the Mickey Mouse Club, Farmer John's Polka Parade. I'm reading this. This is the research I did.
Yeah.
Um, Mike Post, who was a
Yeah.
fabulous guy, Earl
Yeah.
Hagen, and
Yeah.
then he was when we were in like I guess it would have been junior high or high school, the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and two of my all-time favorite movies. Tell me I'm correct here on the research because AI can be a little funky.
Yeah.
Godfather Part Two and Chinatown.
Yeah. And what's the funny one? Gene Wilder, the Western. I want to
Oh,
play.
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles. He was
He
in the
did
band.
that.
He's in the band. The one scene where
Yeah.
it's great. It's great. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because a lot of those musicians that played on movies and even going back to westerns, they
Yeah.
were actually had to be actors too because they were in the band on
Yeah.
film. It wasn't just
Yeah.
background. Um, and then, did he ever play with Chris Levy's dad, Stan, the drummer,
I don't know.
Stan Levy?
Yeah, I
That
don't
would have
know.
been interesting.
Yeah.
And then uh, this cracked me up. I knew about. Now, here's what I want to know. That first part that we discussed, you never talked about that. Is it because you were humble? I know you knew that he was doing all these shows, but when we were in school, I never
Yeah.
heard you say that.
I didn't talk. You know what? I have people. I mean, I can tell you this.
Was
I
just a
have people.
humble, just being
Well,
humble,
two
or
things.
you didn't
Two
think it was
things.
okay?
Because he and I were. I mean, we're. I mean, it's. I mean, it's not like there was never a falling out type thing. Like where it's all good. Like it wasn't
Right.
like how sometimes sons and when they're teenagers they just blow off their parents. No,
Yeah.
but I had.
Unfortunately,
But I was not. I played, drums, and I learned on piano first, and I played a lot of drums, and then I just left it, and I, went to college, and so kind of got out of that whole thing. And a lot of people assumed that the assumptions about my dad partying, and my dad was straight edge, like
right.
Zappa straight edge,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I mean
Right. No
like straight
drugs.
edge.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't say that because he had a martini. My dad was also a martini guy, but like he would always, dude, it's
It was
funny.
the Rat Pack years. What do you want?
I know, man. I remember him coming to one of my gigs. I swear, and there was a drink on my amp, and I do this whole show, and he's sitting there, and he afterwards, Bill, watch the drinks go. I'm like 40 or something, right? I'm
Yeah.
okay, Dad. Because he knows like he had one martini
Yeah.
every night, like one, not three. Never saw him drunk in my life.
Yeah.
But so I didn't tell a lot of people. I just kind of kept it. That was his life, and I had my life.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I didn't learn about any of this until we
yeah,
reconnected on Facebook and I started looking and I'm going, oh my God. Because I knew
yeah.
he was a
Yeah.
musician, but I didn't know what he was on.
Dude, you know what? You know what's so great about it though is he was such a normal guy. He was like really
Yeah.
normal. I mean, he was very, as you know, very, very, very successful.
Yeah.
But he was normal. He was an Italian father. He was like
Right.
strict. He was in our lives. He was a provider. It was no married. He was married for 67 years to my mom. Like
Yeah.
they died. First love.
Yeah.
They took the same train all the way down the tracks, and they both died having loved one person. It's that kind of story.
Amazing.
He was just so I didn't see him as this studio and song. I didn't see him as that. I saw him as my dad,
So
and
dad, yeah.
yeah, and then and I never, and I
And
had him play.
you still don't brag on him like that.
Well,
It's
yeah,
it's somebody like me that tells people,
yeah,
I'm here and I try to explain to my wife when I tell her all these people I know,
yeah,
and I'm not bragging. It's just we grew up in an industry town, and the
yeah,
industry happened to be entertainment. And a
yeah.
lot of our relatives and family and friends just lived down the street, went to the barbecues that we
I,
had,
Yeah, and
and
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm writing this name down so I don't forget.
please.
Do you remember the restaurant on Ventura Boulevard in Fulton, Casa Escobar? It's a,
Sure, I
co-
do.
yeah,
Kathy's place, yeah.
yeah, that place was a hang, right? That was a
Yes, it was.
major studio hang. So when he was getting older, we went back over there, and he was telling me the story about when he wrote a song for Frank and Sinatra, and Sinatra was going to record the song, and he's sitting there in this room looking at the bar. He goes in like right here we're talking. And I'm just imagining because that place was like it was like right before you go over the hill into Hollywood. You know, it's like my dad called them the cats. A lot of the cats lived in the valley, like Studio
Right,
City,
right,
Studio City.
right. The
And
cats, I
so
love it.
yeah, and then he would and so he was and even though he was around these dudes.
Yeah,
Man, he was a Catholic, Italian, straight. So he was my dad, and he was tough on me, man.
yeah.
And so not like to the point where it was like a problem. He was just tough, and
Yeah.
I got to the point where I would say, no, I'm not going to cut my hair, or
Yeah,
that kind
you
of
must have
stuff.
been. You had quite the fro, if I remember.
My brother had the big fro. I had the long
Yeah.
hair. Yeah,
Oh, okay. All right.
they
Yeah.
called him Abraham. They called me Jesus.
Yeah, John. Yeah, John.
Yeah.
John had the fro. Yeah.
John had the major fro. Yeah, major
Yeah.
fro. Major. Yeah,
Y-
yeah.
You know. Oh my gosh. Here's the ones and these I would have bragged on because everyone in our high school was playing Steely Dan.
Yeah,
And to go back and hear your dad's work on my old school,
man.
knowing that that was your
I got
dad, you never
goosebumps on
mentioned.
that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
never mentioned that.
Well, let me.
Happy Together, which is now,
Yeah,
by the Turtles, which is now on all kinds of commercials.
yeah,
And then this one blew me away. And you mentioned just a moment ago, the very first Frank Zappa album, I think,
yeah,
Freak Out,
yeah,
or was it? Yeah, it was Freak Out. Was the very first album, which meant he probably played with Lowell George, who was in that
yeah,
band.
yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay.
some. I'll give you two. I'll give you two backstories.
Yeah.
One was the nature of the studio guys. Like the Wrecking Crew and all those guys. My dad was
Yeah.
all of them. So the nature of the beast is that they do sessions and they never hear the final cut. They never hear it
That's
final.
true. Yeah.
And I played Steely Dan's "My Old School" for my dad in my living room for him to hear, you know. And
And he didn't
and
know?
this is years later.
Yeah.
He never heard the final take. He never
Wow.
heard the killer guitar track by Baxter, you know these guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jimmy Haskell, who arranged the horns in that song. I was at
Right.
Jimmy Haskell's house. My dad hooked me up. I'll never forget that. I had just written my first records, you know, my first songs. And my dad liked one of them about 20 ago, and he called Jimmy Haskell, and I went to Jimmy's house to show him some of the tunes. And I was real folk rock at that time, you know, acoustic
Yeah.
guitar, and when I met Jimmy, you know, you talk about normal guys. These are geniuses. I mean, arrangers, like horn arrangements, like. And then when I turned the back of Countdown to Ecstasy, right,
Right.
the album, and I saw. I mean, I was just going through albums. I didn't even know my dad played that track. I just had the record. I turned it over and I'm looking. Oh, Jimmy, yeah, Jimmy. Go. My dad's on this. You know? And then I put the record on and I listened to it. It's a killer track. And so I told my dad, this is like years later, hey, Dad, you got to come over and check this out. He goes, yo, man, I'll be right there. He comes over in the living room, put it on, and he listens to it, and he wigged out. He wigged out on it, man.
Wow. And he didn't remember that at all?
No, how many sessions these guys do, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They were just doing it by the hour, and
Yeah.
um, so your dad wrote all. Is it all the best?
Nothing
Was
but the
that
best.
nothing but the best? That's right. Great song. I mean,
Yeah. Well, you know what? The story of that, I don't mind doing
yeah,
this, you know. We'll talk about me another year.
absolutely. We got plenty of time for your career.
Yeah, no, so I'm happy doing this.
Yeah.
Great story, man. This is really a great story. He wrote in 1962, Nothing But the Best. He was driving to Vegas to play with Sinatra with my mom. And like, so I was like, you know, 7 or some whatever it is, 8,
Yeah.
whatever. Um, and uh, and so he takes off with my mom. He writes the song on the road trip to Vegas. He wrote the whole song on the, you
Wow.
know, I like my, and so it's written. He goes there, shows it to Frank. Frank digs it. They go back, and he says, we're going to record it. My dad's going, yeah, man. So he comes back, and they go to record it. And Frank, this is before, as you know, auto-tuning and all that crap. So Frank
Right.
does one run, learns it in the studio. He's reading, oh, no, come on.
Of
Then
course. Yeah.
he does the final take. He does the final edit, the final take in one take. He sang that song 2 times. One to learn it, second time, done. Keep her,
Yeah.
you know? So then it came down to the publishing, and Frank wanted his name on it. And my dad goes, I mean, we were going,
Did
I
he play
remember,
real Italian here?
yeah, there was a paisan thing right there where he goes,
Right.
hey, my dad, old school New Jersey, you know,
Yeah.
from, Frank's New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
He goes, did you write the song? No, I mean, you didn't, your name's not going on it. And so his manager is saying, look, Frank wants his name. I know he does, but so they didn't release it. It was
Wow.
shelved. It was
Until later. Until later.
until 25 years later, 87. And then my dad owns 100% of the song now. And boom, it becomes
You,
Nothing But This becomes the title track of the greatest hits record. So
you
he
never
played.
sing Gilly after him, right?
Yeah, was that? Yeah. Yeah, right. So,
When I found that out from you, I went and that's one of the songs. Sorry, I didn't remember the exact title.
yeah.
That's one of the songs I was able to learn parts of it. It's a
Oh,
very, yeah. It's, I try to challenge myself, but that's just a wonderful song.
yeah.
Um, I say, and I'll just mention also that was it your uncle was also in professional
Dude.
music?
I
Um,
would joke my dad sometimes. I'd say, "You got lucky, man. You met my mom. You met mom,
yeah,
because my mom's brother is Jerry Graziano, Jerry Gray, who
right,
did all the
right.
arranging for Glenn Miller. I mean, it's Chattanooga Choo-Choo, String of Pearls, all that stuff. That's my uncle.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really amazing. And my uncle
So,
brought him to California.
wow. So this is a perfect example. Not everything great that happens in LA is nepotism.
Yeah.
You got it in your genes, but you certainly never took advantage of it. You never tried to play on it. Uh, that's very cool as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
That's it was his success, not mine, you know.
right, but it was in the genes somewhere, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, all right, let's talk about you. Uh, I do remember you playing drums, I think that
Hmm.
was your thing when we were younger.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it was probably the beginning of the internet days and Facebook when I started, because I was already here on the East Coast. I started to pick up on what you were doing. And you had a group called Baywood, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me about that and tell me how that all came about,
Man,
if you
and
can
that's
remember.
yeah, yeah, I was in college. I was playing, you know, I got a football and baseball scholarship for college, and I was in the music world. I kind of left it, played
Right.
piano, played drums, left it. And then, you know, a couple of broken noses later, I just said, you know, and then I started kind of rediscovering the music thing, and I met a couple of guys in that area. We started doing this thing, um, and I went back to my house and I was cutting my dad's front yard. And it just so happens that across the street from my parents was the owner of the Palomino Club from North Carolina, from
Ah,
North Hollywood, you know, Tommy Thomas.
great place, iconic place
Great
for.
place.
Yeah.
I walked across, I was cutting the lawn for my folks, walked across the street. This is like, I learned, this is like, and not, it's like a osmosis. I just got this from watching my dad do business. I wasn't afraid of knocking on a door. My dad would say to me all the time when he goes, hey, you got to knock on doors. You got to pick up the phone, knock on doors, you know. So I went across the street. Tommy Thomas was there in the backyard having his wife brought some shrimp. I mean, I remember the thing. And I said, hey, man, I'm your neighbor across the street. He looks at me, he goes, yeah, yeah, okay. I go, look, I got this band, you know, Baywood. It's like we do Southern rock, a lot of my own music. And he goes, yeah, well, do a Sunday. I'll give you a Sunday. You know, take a Sunday, and I'll pay you $200. I go, I didn't care about the money. I go, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I bring my six-piece band, great pedal steel guitar player, Spark Sinclair, great pedal steel guitar
Yeah.
player, Ronnie
Oh yeah.
Lee, lead vocal, all these great players, you know.
Johnny Lee. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Marty Farrow. Now he's worked on tour with Dave Mason, you know. So these are good, really good guys, Bill Stewart, and we packed that place because I'm we're college guys and we're, you know, everyone's drinking beer. It's like it's that whole era, you know, party.
Yeah.
It's like, you
Sure.
know,
Yeah.
and so that really catapulted us, and we started
Now, was
opening
it a lot of people from high school that came to see you
bunch of people from
open?
high school, but also we were starting to play college stuff, and
Yeah.
that's we had that following going, you know,
Yeah.
and we opened for Lacey Dalton, The Ventures,
Wow.
Doug Kershaw, Poco, opened for Poco a bunch of
Whoa,
times. Yeah,
brother.
yeah, we did. We Dave Mason. We opened for Dave Mason. I'm not gonna tell
Amazing.
the story about Dave Mason. God bless him. So anyway, we we opened for some good people, and then we had a good run. We had a good run. Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you know Michael DeTemple by any chance? That
No.
name ring a bell? Because he played with Mason on that first album, first solo
Oh
album.
no, I don't know.
Yeah,
No.
okay. He's a guitar. He actually builds guitars now in
Wow.
Van Nuys,
Yeah.
of all places.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so how long did that group last?
That was a good about 8 years, and then we morphed. And I still, hindsight, we morphed away from the pedal steel because we had a really good sound, and we got we. But then the '80s were happening, and so and then we were in LA, you know, and then we got signed to this production deal. And remember the band Night Ranger?
Sure, I do. Yeah,
Yeah,
Brad. What's his name?
Gillis.
Gillis. Yeah, Brad
Yeah,
Gillis took
yeah,
over
those
after
guys.
Randy passed away. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then their producer uh, found us, and he produced like four or five songs with us. And we went from pedal steel to keyboards, synths, and stuff. And we got a little more, you know, '80s rock. And
Yeah.
I was writing songs like that with my guitar player Stuart. And um, you know, looking back, there's no mistakes. You know, there's no mistakes.
No, you learn.
But I really think had we hung in there with that with our original sound, you know, because we had a really good sound, you know. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's one thing. That's a do over. I would do over. Yeah,
You learn and you grow.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
when did Dakota come on the scene?
And then I've been fortunate, man. I moved to the Antelope Valley, because there's some good housing stuff out there,
Yeah,
and man, like ran into some good players out there, and four-piece band, all of us sang, and it just like boom. Um, Kirk Evans is a great guitar player, and he just stepped in, and but that's when I'll never forget. We were supposed to do a Sagebrush Cantina gig, and it was like it's a drive, and the guys are going, "No, man." I go, "Hey, come on, man. It's Sunday afternoon. What else are we gonna do? Come on." So we
watch
drive
football.
down. It was that.
Watch football, right?
Yeah, right. So we came down and we played Sagebrush. Of all places, that's why I have a soft spot in my heart for that venue, which is
Sure,
why I'm playing it tomorrow.
it's a
But
great place. Yeah,
yeah, it's an outdoor venue, man. That's loose. I played there. Bruce Springsteen's been there. Hulk Hogan's been on stage with. I mean, I've
you
had
know
so
what?
many people.
It screams San Fernando Valley in the old
Yeah,
days, with the ranches and all that. Yeah,
yeah, the Harleys and I mean, like everybody's coming in.
yeah,
So I remember the guys didn't want to go, and I was going, man, what else are we gonna do? We go down there and we get signed to do by Budweiser and GHS and Fender, all these endorsements. So we got discovered, kind of. Dakota got found right there again, $250. Like that's all these clubs are like paying no money, man. But we're friggin' junkies for music.
yeah.
So
You wanted the exposure, I'm sure.
yeah, right. So we went down there and we got signed. We did like 4 tours of Northern Europe, Finland, Norway. We did all that, and we really learned a lot. We got, I mean, we opened up doors. And that guitar player, Kirk and we 26 years together, man. He moved to Hawaii. My drummer Marty, I talked about earlier, he moved to
Yeah,
Hawaii. And so then when that ended, and we had my bass player Reno and my drummer Dave. Everybody sang. It was a good-looking band. Budweiser. We were like their poster band. Americana Dakota. You know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we had to do like 100 shows a year for them. And we went to like great places. I remember Jackson Hole, Wyoming. First time I went there, I was going, "Are you kidding me?" That's
Yeah.
what music did. It was like a ticket. It was a
It
ticket. Just
probably nurtured your wanderlust of wanting to travel because you do.
yeah,
I really enjoy your posts when you're taking a little vacation time. I always
yeah.
wonder, because I know you love going to Italy, obviously, right?
And my family. I got family and really good friends there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Some
so
of
and
those
but I
some of those are my favorite posts, by the way.
thank you, bro.
When
Yeah, me
yeah,
too.
when
Because you know
you
what?
travel a lot. What's
Yeah,
that?
you know what? And that's where people. I'm really glad about that because I want to share. Like without getting into it, like I nearly lost my life twice. I was in Egypt where I almost literally lost my life, and I was in Israel when the war happened. I was in a bomb shelter. I mean, that was crazy. But
Yeah.
but I've met people, and I've shared on Facebook and on my post. I've shared some things about people that people don't understand. Like, it's easy to prejudge people in different parts of the world without knowing them, or religions or points of view and all that. So when I get a chance to share a story or share how beautiful some of these places are,
Yeah.
like I like that. I like sharing that.
Yeah. I feel sorry for people that have never had the opportunity to go outside the country, see how the
Yeah,
rest of the world lives,
yeah,
because
yeah,
you realize that it's almost like Galileo. We're not or was it Copernicus? We're not the center of the universe.
yeah. Copernicus.
Once
Yeah,
you travel, you see people going, I'm not paying
yeah.
attention to Trump. Well, it's
You
hard not
know,
to pay attention to him,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
yeah, you people, it broadens you the way that going to college broadens you,
dude.
and I think that's part of the purpose of college is to learn to see how different people live,
That's
and
Mark
it's
Twain.
not
Mark
just getting
Twain.
that education.
Mark Twain. Don't let school get in the way of your education.
Did he say that?
Yeah, yeah,
That's a wonderful quote, man. I'd
yeah.
never heard that. That's
Yeah.
great.
And the whole thing
Um,
too is, I mean, I went and I did it. I did like 26 countries in 10 years. I just went for it, you know. And what it did for my songwriting, and I do it for songwriting more than anything else because I journal
Sure.
like crazy.
Yeah,
And I
I'll bet.
bring, I'll bring this with me, or I don't bring a guitar all the time. I get one out there. I'll get a friggin' $150 because I don't want to carry it all the time. I'm
Right,
moving,
right,
I'll just
right.
buy one for a couple $100 or something, play it for
Just
like two
hanging off
weeks.
your backpack. Yeah,
Yeah, or then I'll give
yeah,
it to someone because it's $200. You can get a guitar worth writing on.
sure.
So, and you know what? And that's when I remember my dad telling me when I kept going, because my dad didn't do any of this. My
Yeah,
dad was on the piano writing, and I'm in hotel rooms on trains doing it, and because it's a different songwriting, it's a different genre. Like his music was fueled by these great players and a different era. It's the 40s, man. That era, 40s, 50s era. Where my influence was like yours was the folk songwriters.
yeah.
So different.
So did when you were touring all these countries, I always ask this when I talk to musicians, did you get paired up on a gig with an unusual pairing? Did you meet other bands that
Well,
you really liked? Or I know
I
you got
remember.
stories like that.
We played Olympic Stadium in Finland. It was the there. It was and it was the there was a big event, and we were the American band.
Yeah.
So we're an American band, and so we're there, we're playing, and I gotta tell you, man, it was weird because not just we were paired with all these international bands, but we were the only American band. So that was remarkable. But I remember too some of the I was shocked to see some of the uh, white supremacy stuff.
Yeah.
It shocked me. Like people were putting flyers on their stage. I remember telling one of the crew said, "Hey, get those things off." Like, is it? And I was going, "Wow, this really does happen out here." It
Yeah.
really. I'm talking Northern Europe. Northern Europe.
And yeah, there's a strain that runs through Norway, Sweden,
Yeah.
and where else do I want? But it's I know what you're talking about. What year was that? Was that like in the 90s, 80s?
Late, yeah, 90s, exactly,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's why can't people just
It's
get along?
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, all right.
and we don't live in their shoes. We don't. You didn't live their childhood. You don't know what creates these type of
Sure.
bigotries
Yeah,
and
yeah.
racial
And
animus.
you know one thing too is I have a really, really dear friend Diego in Italy, southern Italy. And
Yeah,
I'll tell you, if ever you want to take a trip, man, this guy's he's a fantastic guitar player. And his dad, I became very close to this family. They sail from Lecce, which is like the heel of Italy, to the Greek
yep,
islands. And I've done a trip with him, like he and I in this boat, like treacherous sailing. I can't do nothing. And this guy's
right,
like the master,
yeah.
mariner.
You're
And we're
looking for
sailing, and
land out
he's like,
there, and you're just in a body of
and I'm just
water.
going, I can't do a thing, man. I got my
Yeah,
guitar going, we're gonna die, but whatever.
yeah.
And
It'd be a
he's
good
just,
song.
yeah, I'll write a song about it, my last song. Um, but and if ever you go sailing or something, I'm gonna hook you up with this family. They're great.
Okay.
They're really great. But you go and you see these incredible guitarists,
Yeah,
and there's like no work. I mean, and one thing I've learned more than anything else is how to, the things I don't like about this country are obvious to those who know me. But
yeah,
the things that I do appreciate about this country is for a musician, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of opportunity to share music. There are venues. There's the freedom of expression,
sure,
to a
sure.
degree nowadays. There's a freedom of expression. So, because I see guys like Diego and I go to Europe and I see these guys playing outside in tunnels that are like, damn.
Yeah,
I never forget I heard a guy in Nice in France playing um, Moon River, Moon River on a nylon a classical guitar and a harp. And I was walking, and I just heard that go, what?
yeah,
It stopped me in my tracks. It was so beautiful. And this guy, old man, sitting in this thing. He could play, man, anywhere, and there's no work.
Um, one thing I admire about you, and all you got to do is watch your schedule. You may just stay to the West Coast, but you are literally up and down the West Coast. Don't think
Yeah.
I don't see this. And
Yeah.
there are a couple of my favorite musicians here in Charlotte, and you can either sit there, hope and pray that somebody's going to discover you, or you do what the successful artists here do. They're their own managers. They book
Yep.
themselves.
Yep.
They try to keep the number of the members of the group down so they don't have to spread it out too much. But
Yeah, you
the
smart
truth
man,
is,
Jimmy.
the truth is, they're working every week. And
Yeah.
there's this one guy I know. He's a keyboardist, and he'll be doing weddings. He'll be doing bar mitzvahs. He's on the local, the 12 o'clock news where they
Yeah.
do a little segment with a
Yeah.
band,
Yeah.
local
Yeah.
band. He does everything. Still has not been signed,
Yeah.
but you know what? You can make a pretty damn good. To
You
your
want to know
point, you can
something,
make a
Jim?
damn good living.
Yeah, you know some, Jimmy. Some people say to me, because I've got like 15 albums out. I've got, whatever. I'm working on another album right now. And
Yeah,
people ask me all the time. They say, "Dude, why haven't you? Why haven't you? Why haven't you? Why haven't?"
yeah,
I go, "I haven't. I what?
yeah.
Are you questioning? I am very successful. Like in
And
my
you're
world.
happy.
And what is success? Measure success. Does success mean that you get to play music and
Yeah,
share music with people at these wonderful venues? I sit there sometimes, I'm telling you, there are many times I have my guitar and I'll just pick up,
yeah,
the D28, and I'll just go, I'll look straight up and I'll go, thank you, because
yeah.
it's a gift, man. Like, my whether it's my uncle or my dad or my mom was an amazing musician who didn't do it because she was an Italian mom.
Raising you kids. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But
yeah.
I feel very fortunate, and I'm sure your buddy on the East Coast is going, don't worry about me.
I'm very happy with him, and yeah, we've got a handful like that. You also have guys that just play every night or every week at the same place, and they've really never grown the way these guys that really are. And they're like you. They don't view success as getting signed.
No,
They
no,
get few success that they've been able to live their life. Just like I was telling you that I interviewed Mark Knopfler's brother,
yeah, yeah,
and he dropped out of that band because he didn't want everything that Mark is successful as he is, and he's played with everybody, but David didn't want that, and
yeah,
he was
yeah. No, I
and
know.
he wasn't like uh, smashing his brother at all. There's this whole
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
in the press about how they hate each other and that's why they broke up. Truth is, he goes, no, that he was going that route, and
yeah,
this guy lives a very pastoral life in England, and he just wants to write music. That's all he
yeah.
wants to do, and
And
like
you know what? Yeah,
go
and you
ahead.
know what happens when you're playing venues and you're not, because we've done the other thing, where we played
Yeah,
larger venues and you don't talk to anybody, you
no,
don't really meet people. But an interesting thing happened, and I want to mention this briefly, and that is
yeah,
when you're on the right road, the right doors open sometimes, it doesn't mean it's going to be what you expect to be on the other side of the door. Like it's an opportunity. And then you decide if this is the opportunity you want to pursue or not.
yeah,
So when like you said about being soloist, so then I went after Kirk, loved my guitar player, Kirk Dakota, when he moved to Hawaii, I was like, okay, well,
you had to reinvent yourself a little
I
bit.
had to reinvent, and this one venue said to me, "Just come with yourself." And I was never a soloist. And then I did a couple of years as a soloist, and then one day this girl walks through the door to say, "Hey, can I?" And so she sang with me, Amber. So Amber and Smoke
Yeah,
have this duo, at a folk and soul duo, out of nowhere, because you
yeah,
don't know. You can try to groom whatever you want, but sometimes you just got to get lucky. It just happens. So
it
she's
happened.
very talented. She's a great singer. So, and we're still doing shows now. We did in 5 years. We did 4 albums, 500 shows, East Coast. I was in Nashville. I mean, it just happens. And so, like your buddy, who's a troubadour, right,
Yeah,
soloist, he could be a troubadour all he wants, and then one day someone walks in and the guitar magic happens, or the
yeah,
vocal. So Amber and I, we have a vocal thing, whereas
yeah.
Kirk and I had a guitar thing. So it's cool.
So
Like
does she do her own stuff also?
no, no,
Solo?
no.
She only sings with
She's
you?
no, she doesn't play. She just sings. She's a great singer, just a
Yeah,
great singer. And our voices have
that's
that. It's
nice.
butter. Yeah, she's on
Uh,
Mississippi Knows, the single that you like,
by the way,
Yeah.
first off, have you know, we know about how you like to write songs by traveling. You've never been to Mississippi, have you?
No, no.
Yeah. So,
But I seen the videos and
yeah,
the story,
right. Yeah. So,
and I know
like,
the story.
growing up in Van Nuys, if you said, "Hey, Jim, uh, in a year or so, a couple of years, you're going to be living in the South," I
Yeah,
would have said, "You're nuts." But
yeah,
very,
yeah.
but one of the reasons I love Randy Newman, Jewish guy growing up in Westwood, descendants were all these great composers for film and everything. Yet his mom was born in New Orleans. And when
Hmm.
his dad was in the war, she would take him to New Orleans every summer. And so when people hear the songs that he writes about the South, they think it's coming from somewhere he's not familiar with. But the truth is, he's very familiar with the South. And they always misrepresent his lyrics. They think, like Rednecks is not a song you
Yes,
can really play without having to go through a lengthy explanation to the audience. It's got some words in it, and they think that he's making fun of the South, but he's not. It's
mm,
like a third person talking,
mm,
and
mm.
he's actually pointing out the hypocrisy that racism's everywhere. It's not just
Yeah,
in the South, it's in
that's right.
Boston, it's in
Yes.
San Francisco. That third person narration like that is wonderful. But the fact that I learned the same thing. It was like uh, Hollywood, where I just found myself in Raleigh, North Carolina, and
Hmm.
then I started my first job. I'm driving all around the rural areas of North Carolina, listening to gospel music with a harmonica
Oh,
and learning how to play harmonica to,
wow.
because there wasn't any satellite radio or anything. It was whatever was playing on the radio.
Yeah.
But I really came to love the South,
Wow.
despite the issues that are, centuries old.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Centuries old. Yeah.
Beautiful people, and I really feel now that I've lived most of my life here, I feel very connected to the South.
Right
I
on.
still like coming back to Van Nuys and hanging with the boys and
Yeah.
trying some food that hasn't the style of food hasn't migrated to the East Coast yet because it's so new. But there's nothing like getting on a plane, a red eye, and you wake up and it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and you're coming into nothing but trees, and you're going, oh,
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah.
like being home.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so Amber and Smoke, that's been going on a while, has it not?
Well, we took a she moved to Florida, so we had like a
Yeah.
4 year break in there. But we were it's never was never weird. It was like she COVID happened. Right when
Mm,
COVID happened, she
yeah.
went East Coast. She was thinking about a different career thing, and my solo thing, I really enjoy my solo thing because it's like
Yeah.
even though the duo is really great and it's easy, it's all
Yeah.
about easy right now, because we've been through the band things where I'm going, oh my God,
Yeah.
like you have
Got
to,
a lot of responsibilities.
yeah, man. I'm a band leader. I'm a band leader.
Yeah.
Like, guys. I mean, come on, man. you know. So, and now I've been lucky because, man, band of brothers, man. Dakota was great. And I mean, they were tight, and Baywood was great. All these they're all great guys. I mean, I can't think of. It's not like, oh my God, stories. They're the rock and roll stories. It was never like that. So I'm lucky in that regard. But I sure like solo. I love my solo thing. Just like, what I did last night, Jimmy? I had a gig last night, and I was taking a walk, and I'm going, you know what? I want to learn to finger pick and sing "Girl
Yeah.
from North Country."
Nice
D-
song. Go.
Yeah, and so I'm just, I came home and I put the record on. I'm going, and I'm hearing these different versions going, and I heard the Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan version. I'm going, that's not what I remember, man. So I went back to the original, from Free Willin', right?
Yeah.
And it's got that finger pick thing,
Yeah.
It's a whole different vibe. I was going, and
Oh
so
yeah. It's
as
just
a
him and a
solo,
guitar. Yeah.
yeah. But did you like the documentary? Not, did you like the movie or no?
I haven't seen it yet. The one
Jim,
with Chalamet.
he did
Is
a
that how you
great
say it?
job. He
Yeah,
did a great
I
job.
hear that. He's a
He
great
did,
actor.
yeah, and he did, and that, see, I just, And I just got through reading Woody Guthrie's story, before I watched that to get the true vibe of Woody and Bob and what really happened there. Because
Yeah.
the movie is done interestingly where they present a couple of the controversial aspects of plagiarism or just borrowing and just sharing, whatever the words are people use. And they do some things there where you can really, it's subtle. It's really,
Yeah.
movie is made very subtly where you can go, okay, that's the plagiarism part. That's the this part. That's the Woody Guthrie annoying part where they were like, is it really all this? But when you play some of those songs as a soloist, you're free.
Yeah.
Like there's no, hey guys, I want to do this. Can we learn? No, man, that's the beauty of that. And the beauty of Amber and Smoke is that because she's so soulful, we are the genres that we can touch is like we do a medley, for example, of Midnight Rider, of my version of Midnight Rider, Allman Brothers, with,
Sure.
and she goes right into Get Ready, which is the Smokey Robinson,
Song. Yeah.
and so they both, it's a interesting medley, folk and soul. And then we go and we do we've got, like I said, 5 albums of our own music, so we drift. In a duo you can drift,
Yeah.
soloists you
Right.
can really drift.
Where
So
does she live in Florida, by the way?
she was in what city is she was in the Orlando.
That's where my daughter lives.
Oh yeah.
And that's where we go. I was kidding my wife. Well, I kid my daughter. I say, "Hey, we're coming to Disney World. We may come by to see you." And my wife says, "Don't tell her that." And I say, "She knows I'm kidding."
And
But
speaking of Disneyland, I saw my dad playing at Disney. My dad talked about the Family Guy. He would take gigs. 30 seconds.
did
He
he
would
play
take
with
gigs
Buddy Rich?
well, you know what?
Remember how Buddy would
I
use
had
the?
Buddy Rich's drum set when I was like
Wow.
13 years old.
Do you remember how he used to do the? He'd bring the high school jazz stars, and he'd play at that little pavilion, the Carnation Pavilion
Carnation Plaza, man. That's where I saw
Plaza.
my.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So your
man.
dad did your dad play with him or a separate
Oh
gig?
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My dad would joke. I remember my dad joking one day in the studio. I went there
Yeah.
to the studio with him and he said, you know, my son plays drums, and I didn't go to too many studio things. I went to a couple.
Yeah.
I was not blown away by it. I was into
Yeah.
sports
You
big time,
right.
you know,
Right.
and and Bill Rotella, BR, Buddy Rich. He goes, hey BR. He called me BR
Yeah.
because he said Buddy Rich, whatever. That was like that thing with Buddy. But the Carnation Plaza, and my dad took gigs at the Coliseum when the Rams played there. And my
Wow.
twin brother John, he and I,
Yeah.
he would take these gigs, and we go to the Ram games and sit there at Deacon Jones, the Fearsome Foursome, all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you mentioned Disneyland, I go, oh God, I remember going there. So hey,
Yeah. We.
musicians, yeah.
Well, I got to ask you. Going back to the sports scholarship, which college did you get a scholarship at?
Cal State Northridge.
Okay. We're
Yeah, and
I
that's
did have
when,
a good college career. Yeah.
yeah, that's where John Elway, John
Yeah.
Elway.
Oh yeah.
So his dad was my coach when John Elway was at Granada Hills High School. So I was playing catch. His son would come to the school to
Yeah.
be with his dad because Granada Hills in Northridge, right?
Right.
Granada Hills High was right there. So I played catch with John Elway when he was like 15, because I
Wow.
was defensive back. Who knew?
So that's something else that nobody really probably knows about, even our friends
Yeah,
from Van Nuys, right?
yeah. I was captain
They're
of that football team. Yeah.
yeah, you know what? It's funny because there was a split, not friendship wise, but a number of you went down the sports route in high
Yeah.
school. I could have played baseball. I was a pretty good baseball player. That was the only
Cool.
sport I was good at. And I remember being in senior league and they wanted me to cut my hair. And I said, I'm not going to cut my hair. But I still remember, and I think I have a Van Nuys High annual where they do those gridiron poses for the
Yes.
pitchers. There's
Yeah.
one of you, like, ready to cock that ball. And I remember you were on the baseball team with, who were you? Stuart
Yeah. Bowling.
Stuart
Yeah.
Bolin, who's
Yeah.
dropped out of Facebook, over the last couple of years. And was Matthew Klain on that team?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
guys that I played little league with. In
Yeah.
fact,
Oh.
yeah, Bert Navarre, remember him? He was
Mm.
from the Knack guitar
Oh
player for
yeah, yeah, right.
he was
Yeah.
on my little league team.
No
I
kidding.
still got a picture of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just wondering because for some reason, those images of you guys, like you were,
Dude,
college
it's so
players,
cheesy. It's so
it
cheesy, I know.
was. But even like football, you had to do the Hell Week, and I was busy surfing. I was busy doing, weird stuff and surfing, and
Yeah, right.
growing my hair long. I wasn't going to
And
do
you know
that.
what's so funny? Because you mentioned Dennis and some of those guys. Some of those guys are
Yeah.
great athletes, you know.
Oh my gosh, Dennis still surfs.
Yeah, yeah. I see
Yeah,
him. I see him. Yeah.
he's unbelievable. I got to make sure that the next time I come out there, that I can catch one of your performances.
Yeah,
I've
man.
never seen you live. I do enjoy watching you bring the audience into your solo. You'll
Yeah.
find a kid that can play something like what's the Deep Purple song? Oh, God.
Inagata Davida.
Yeah, no, not Iron Butterfly, but
Oh,
look,
oh, 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 oh! Smoke on the water.
smoke out of the water, and she'll just like you're so gentle and kind with them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very
Well,
very
dude,
humorous.
you know what? I play sometimes. I swear, Jimmy, I play some places. I play. A really good friend of mine owns two great Italian restaurants in here, Nona, and he opened up a new one. And
Yeah,
I've known him. He's had me play at so many venues of his. Every place he works, he brings me in to sing. He was the
that's
first
great.
guy. He was the first guy to send me to play solo. Anyway, you play there. These kids walk by, and when they hear a guitar or my harp, they
Yeah,
just and that's what we do. We introduce them to music, you know. So
yeah. You want if you have instruments at home. I never hid my instruments. I never, even if the expensive ones. I always felt even if they step on it and break it, I
yeah,
want them to experience being around music. Now, neither of my girls really gravitated towards that. And God knows when I play guitar now, my wife, she used to love it when we first got married, but now it's like, hey, can you turn it down? Sure. So the only time I get to play is when she's at work or something like that. But yeah, there's nothing like and I like you, I put it down for a long. I mean, the first guitar I bought was 1967, and
oh,
it was a Kent
oh
335
God,
knockoff, and the action was so high. I think I bought it at Wallach's Music City, and
oh man,
I remember bringing it back saying I can't push the strings down, and the salesman at the time, this is Wallach's, there weren't any like vintage stores or
yeah,
anything,
yeah, yeah,
or even legitimate, and he goes, I don't know, we just sell them. I don't know how to do anything with
yeah.
that.
It's for slide.
Yeah, right. But that took me that made me say, I think I'll go out and play baseball instead. And I
Yeah,
wish I had stuck to it the way the Beatles had to play really tough instruments when they were starting.
yeah,
Same thing, high action, but they muscled through it.
yeah,
But probably about 20 years ago, I got serious about playing again, and it's a joy to me. It's one of the great things that I can do, and I love doing that. We could talk for hours, brother.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
When's your next tour, by the way?
Oh well,
Uh,
I'm gigging. I'm gigging tonight. I'm gigging tomorrow. I'm gigging. But I'm up and down California. I'm in California for a while right now. You know.
yeah,
And I go as far as so anyway, I'm just gigging all the time. I have on my website are all my dates, but I'm doing what am I doing today? Today I'm local, then I'm in Malibu, then I'm in Calabasas, Sagebrush, and then I'm in Santa Barbara area, like Solvang, you know.
think of those
I'm,
poor souls in Ohio and places landlocked where they're trying to do what you're doing, and you're very
it's
fortunate that
crazy.
you have that great area.
And isn't it crazy how these vineyards just became like they weren't around before.
Yeah.
It wasn't. These were not around 20 years ago.
Do you have each time you come back to a place you played multiple times? Is there a following that says,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're going to go"? Yeah, that's
Oh
just
man,
so
we put
great.
Amber Smoke. We just did one up in Buellton. You would think Buellton, what, dude?
Buellton,
Dude,
Anderson's
this
pea soup. Yeah,
yeah, it's right next. There's a place right next to it, Brick
yeah,
Barn. It's an outdoor, beautiful friggin' venue.
yeah,
And I walked in and I saw like 20 friends from friends, but people, good
yeah.
people from local, and I recognize them all. It's just that they're waiting before anybody. Their first one's there, It's like it's cool, It's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I would encourage everybody. I learned that song, by the way, Mississippi Knows.
Oh,
Very
good.
nice. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
thanks,
the
man.
melody. You write very melodic stuff. I would encourage everybody that's watching today to look that song up. It's one of your most
Cool.
recent releases, right?
It's my last single. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, please do that. You'll really enjoy the song. It's
Thanks.
very and the lyrics are very thoughtful. It's not just throwaway lyrics, you know.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then I will put a link on this video to your website.
Cool, man.
And this has been a joyful
Yeah, Jim.
interview for me, man. And we've talked for an hour. We could talk for 3 more hours.
Yeah.
Give my best to John, would you? I haven't
I
talked to
will.
him by Facebook in a long time,
Yeah.
and I just always remember him saying, "Mary, your little sister,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Mary."
Yeah. And that's a
John's,
that's a long time ago when she was a little sister. But they're always little sisters. Yeah. Right.
sure they are. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I was the baby in the family, so I don't quite know that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Please, let's do this again, especially
Cool,
if you have
man.
a new album coming out. I hope you enjoyed it. I really did, man. This is,
I had a great
uh,
time, Jim.
and I think we'll have a lot of people from Van Nuys watching this. I hope I do. Yeah.
Reunion. We'll do a reunion.
I've never been a guru in my own hometown, so you never know.
Hey, when you come back, we'll definitely do a hang, and we'll get some people together and bring I got guitars, man. We'll play some
Yeah.
music, man.
Wonderful. I'm sure I can't keep up with you, brother.
Yeah.
I've got an app that it's like the red bouncing ball. Change a chord here, but it's still, it's done two things. It's helped my timing,
Yeah.
which is critical when you're playing rhythm guitar. You can't be late on a chord change. And I've learned a lot of the songs that I loved growing up, and it's a wonderful app.
Dude,
But
Jim, that's what
uh,
it's all about, man. That right there. Do you know how
that's
good it was, like I said about that girl from North Country, to play that? It just,
yeah.
music talks to you.
You're a good friend, brother, and I'm
Thanks,
glad we
buddy.
reconnected over Facebook. We've been
Cool.
knowing each other for so many years.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I enjoyed it, and I will let you know. There's a good chance I'm coming out sooner than later, and
Cool.
I'd love to get all of us together. Every once in a while, and I'll end with this. I get a
Yeah,
call from Dennis, and it's Maisel, it's Dennis, a couple other guys,
yeah.
and they're all at a coffee shop, and they're going, "What are you
Yeah,
doing
yeah, right.
back there on
They
your?"
do yeah, right by his house. I know.
Yeah, yeah, which is a lot of
I've
fun.
done a couple. I'm not a regular. Yeah, I've done a couple. They all came to Sagebrush last time there. They're all there, and I was looking at them going, God, this is crazy, man. Like
It
freaking
is,
years,
man.
man. Yeah.
It's been a long road. All
We're
right.
lucky. We're lucky. We got good
Um,
friends, man.
where do you live right now in the
Thousand
valley?
Oaks.
Okay,
Thousand Oaks.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely give you a heads up, and I'll probably come into Orange County, but I'll give you a heads up, and we'll get together,
Cool. Right on, Jim.
brother. I
Happy New
enjoyed it,
Year.
bro. All
Okay,
right, you
buddy.
do the same.
I'll
Bye
see you,
bye.
man.